welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today we are actually going to be talking about products you can get at Sephora. So I recently ordered a couple of things from Sephora twice. So both of my packages have arrived, and I figured I have pretty much a full face. So with samples and everything, we're going to do a full face of things that you can get from Sephora. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start off with this Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. So this is a sample that I have. It's the blurring silicone-free primer, and it says it creates an instant mattifying filter, visibly reducing the appearance of fine lines, pores, and imperfections. Microalgae conditions skin over time for improved look and texture. So right now I have on skincare sunscreen, so you can see I definitely look a bit dewy. So we're going to see how this mattifies. So I'm going to bring you in closer. All right, so this is the sample I have. It's 0.33 ounces. And let's see how this goes. So just pulling off the little foil seal. So we've got a little bit of product here. It feels, I mean, you can see how thick it is. It feels like a moisturizer. It's thicker than a gel moisturizer. It's more like a traditional moisturizer, in between like light and medium, maybe closer to medium. All right, so I put that on. Definitely feels like it's more matte. I don't have that like sunscreen texture anymore. And yeah, it feels very comfortable. I should have done one side at a time. Yeah, we'll add a little bit more to the one side and see if we see any blurring. What do we think? This side versus this side? I do think there is some blurring there. I don't know how much, but no, I'm gonna make it even. All right, so yeah, very comfortable on the skin. I like that. It feels nice. And let's move on to concealer. It may surprise some of you, but I've never tried the YSL Touche Eclat concealers, and I have a sample of the High Cover concealer. So see, I think this is a little brush or something in here. Let's pull that out. And then the shades in this packet, we've got 0.75 sugar, 2 ivory, 2.5 peach, and 5 honey. So I think we'll try the 0.75. So this, what is this thing? Okay, yeah, it's just a little brush to put this on. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to use that. I'm going to use one of the Sonia G Fusion brushes. All right, so this is 0.75, and I'm going to use the Sonia G. This is the soft concealer. I'm actually just going to dip a little bit onto this foil backing, so that way I can leave that kind of clean. And let me get plenty of product for both eyes so I don't have to re-dip. And there's that. I'm actually going to wipe off this brush and then blend this in. All right, so I wiped off the brush so I don't have any excess product there. And so it is a little peachy. Just tapping it out with my finger here. What do you think? This side versus what you see here. I definitely see coverage there. It's a little peachier than I expected, which, you know, isn't a bad thing, but just something to note. I like the way that covers. It goes on nicely, and you know, sometimes the samples in these little foil packets, the texture can be a little different, so I don't know, you know, if that's the case here, but I definitely see coverage. I think the color works well, and yeah, I like it. So let's move on to foundation. So I figure we'll check out this Pat McGrath foundation sample. I have never tried her foundation, but there's a light too. So I figure we'll look at that. If it looks like it's too dark, then we'll go with the foundation that I have that you can get at Sephora, but it looks like it's gonna work. So let's try this one out. I'm going to use the Guerlain L'Essentiel foundation brush, which you can buy at Sephora, by the way. And it's one of my favorite brushes, actually. So I think it's bamboo and charcoal in the bristles. So it's, meant to be more sanitary if you don't wash it all the time. This foundation is very thin, very liquidy. Definitely a serum style foundation. It feels mattifying going on, actually. I'm not sure if it's supposed to. I don't really, honestly, I wasn't interested in this when it came out, so I never really looked into it. I think the color, though, works well for me. I wouldn't say it's giving me a ton of coverage. It's definitely giving coverage, but for some reason I thought this was a higher coverage foundation, like more medium to full, and at least with the quantities that I'm using here in this little, sample, I'd say it's lighter to medium. Okay, just gonna get a little bit more on the cheeks. And just reading this packet, it says meet your match, experience perfection, 36 sublime shades for all skin types, skin tones, and undertones. And it's weightless, buildable coverage, sublime satin finish, runway tested, mother approved. All right, so I don't know, maybe you could build this up more than that. Honestly, there's not that much in this little sample, so I think that's gonna be about it. And it does look nice. I'd say it's more of a satin matte finish though. Like, I don't know, it's a little bit more matte than I would expect from a true satin finish, in my opinion. But I think it seems nice. We'll see how it wears throughout the day. I have to say, it's probably not going to be my favorite foundation, but I think it looks nice. And then one of the reasons that I wanted to try these things out right away is Makeup by Mario, the little eye quads on Sephora. They're normally $25, but they're on sale for $15. So I picked up 2 of them, and I really wanted to play with those today. So let me try and get these boxes open. But I picked up, this one here is Rosy Glam, which is the purpley one. Let's see how this goes. So I'm not so sure if I'm gonna really care for the pink shade here, but the purple really drew to me, and I'm not sure if you can see, it looks like there's a little bit of a, not like a true duochrome, but maybe like a little bit of a duochrome in there. And we had a Clubhouse discussion about these, and one of the shades in one of the palettes is supposed to be a duochrome, so that could be it. And then this is my blue one. This was the one I was really excited for. But you know what? I think I want to try mixing a couple of them. I definitely want to use these 2 at the top and maybe that purple shade. So we're going to mix those. And first, I'm going to go ahead and add the NARS eyeshadow base. So this is the original. Just going to add a little bit here. All right, so we're actually gonna start off with this brown because I want something more matte in the crease. So we're gonna go with brown. This is the Crease Pro from Sonia G. The powder comes up very easily. I'm actually dabbing some of that, just tapped it a little bit on my cloth that I keep on my lap, just to kind of knock some of that off. And then I'm gonna take the same brush into the purple. We're gonna put this on the outer corner, and it looks a little bit more red there. Let's see how it looks on the eye. Ooh, look, when you buff that out, there is a little bit of a shift there. Nothing like major, but there is a little bit. You can see like a hint of blue. So it's really more of like a red base purple with a little bit of a blue reflect. All right, so next I'm gonna go into this teal shade, and just gonna get a little bit there, just knocked off a little excess on my lap. And look at this shade going on. That's really pretty. I'm going to go over the purple a little bit, but then I'm going to add a little bit more purple to it, I think. That's a really pretty color. All right, so I wiped off the brush. Just going to go in with a little bit more of the purple here. Just kind of going over the blue on the edges there. I want to know whether or not, actually, let's use a finger here. I just want to know if you can see any of the blue through it. Look at that together. I like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so then we've got this silver here and silver in the blue palettes. Let's see what they look like. So this one's the Rosy Glam one. You can see it's a warmer silver. There's a little bit more like purpley look. And then this is definitely gonna be a cooler tone silver. I think I actually want to go with the one in the purple palette. We're going to add a little bit of this here on top of the blue. So I'm just going to go in with the brush, same brush. Just like that. And then I'll mix those out a little bit better. All right, and then I'm taking a finger. Nothing's on it. I'm just kind of heading that out a little bit. All right, so there's that. And then I need to fix this crease a little bit. I feel like this brush is a little too dirty, so let me get a clean brush. So I'm just taking the Refer 15 and no product. Just gonna kind of go in and blend that out a little bit more smoothly. Before we move on to lower lash line, I have a sample of the Natasha Denona Macro Blade liquid liner. This is the new one that just came out. So this was one of the beauty offers on Sephora. I have used this once already. I just wanted to try it out so I could kind of give my thoughts when I record it with it. And I've kind of already decided what I think about it, but let's see what you guys think when I put it on. We'll just do a tiny bit here. I don't want an actual wing, so I'm just kind of darkening that just a tiny bit. All right, so there's that. Let me know what you guys think about this. I will give you my thoughts at the end of the video, but I have already made up my mind on this. And for the lower lash line, I want to go into the gold. So I'm going to take the Sonia G pencil one, and I'm just going to get a little bit on here. And we're going to put this down here. Just get a little bit more. Okay, and I'm gonna take just a touch of the silver here, and I dabbed a little bit of that off. I'm just gonna kind of blend that with the gold up to about the halfway point. All right, and then I'm going to twirl the brush in the gold like this, and I'm going to, I just tapped it off a little bit. I'm gonna try and get a little bit of this right up here, right on the waterline. See how that performs. I've never actually put powder there, but I got some there accidentally. I figure might as well. So I'm not going like deep in the waterline, just on that like edge, you know, right at the tip, because I don't want the powder like to actually be like touching my eye or anything like that. So just a little bit right kind of on the edge there. Add some brightening. And I'm just going to add a little bit more of the gold right to the inner corner here as well. All right, so that's it for the eyes. And mascara. I have a new mascara also. So first, let me start by saying I have been playing with the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara that I picked up not that long ago. So I've been using that recently, but this new Fullest Volume mascara from Ilia came out. So I ordered this you can buy the mini size or you can buy it in full size. So I had actually ordered the mini, and now they have a free sample where you get like, I think it's the same size. Let me see. 0.13 ounces. Yeah, they're the same size. This is one of the free samples now. All right, so let me show you the fullest lash mascara or fullest volumizing mascara. Here's the wand. So this kind of shape is hard for me to use because I always end up, hitting myself in the eye with the thicker part. So let me show you this. So there's that versus no mascara in the other eye. And then let me show you the Limitless while I'm at it. This one's the lengthening one. So this wand is more like a brush comb. I'm not sure, can you see, like, it's basically got these little combs at different angles throughout the brush. So there are not bristles like everywhere. So I like to, take them, and I love using an eyelash comb to separate my lashes. So this kind of has it built in. So here's the Limitless. So volumizing versus lengthening. What do you guys think? So I'm just gonna add a little bit to the lower lashes as well. I'm just gonna add the volumizing one to both of them. And of course I made a mess. All right, so think about what you like better about the mascaras. We're gonna talk about those at the end, do a little, just a little what are the differences type thing. So this one here is the Gucci Brow Pencil, and this one is shade 01 or Taupe. This is the powder pencil. I have tried both of the Gucci eyebrow pencils. I just prefer this one. So I'm going to just quickly do my brows. All right, and then figured let's try this Tower 28 Bronzino powder, or gel bronzer. Never tried one of their bronzers before. Let's see here. So here it is. See what this looks like. This one is West Coast. We'll just put this here. So you can see it's shimmery. So we're gonna put this on. I'm gonna use the foundation brush actually to kind of blend this out. So since it's shimmery, I definitely want to keep it up higher. Let's add a little bit more product here. So here it is. It is kind of like sun-kissed with some shimmer. Well, let's just try doing this one with the finger, see how that goes. I think I prefer these more shimmery bronzers with a dewier foundation. So here it is with finger application instead. It's just a little bit too shiny for me, so I'm gonna dampen it a little bit with the foundation brush. Just kind of pouncing that out a little bit. All right, I think that's about the same. Let's add some blush. All right, so I'm gonna take a Tower 28 blush. This one's After Hours. I actually have two new shades that I haven't used yet, but I want to go in with something a little pinker. The other shades aren't quite the right color. It's a little bit more product than I intended. We're gonna use the foundation brush again. Ooh, let's switch the fingers. Right, so part of the redness right now is from just contact because my skin turns red with the pressure. So that should calm down a little bit. But you can see that this blush is going to be on the redder berry side. Let's just swatch this real quickly with the bronzer. I forgot how pigmented this was, so I shouldn't have gone in with quite so much. And then I also have one of the Sephora lip liners. So this one here is 01, the Nudist gel lip liner. And let's see how this is. It's made in Korea and it's 0.5 grams. So let's see how this works. All right, so here it is. I have to say it was very tough to get the cap off. We'll put this right here. It goes on very smoothly. I like the color. There is a little bit of shimmer in it. Do you see that? How it like reflects the light a little bit. So it is a twist up. So that's about it. Just kind of rubbing that in a little bit. But I wanted to try out one of the new Bite Beauty lipsticks. So they came out with these new, what are they called? Power Move soft matte lipsticks. So I figure with all of the sheer velvets and soft mattes coming out, this would be a good one to compare as well. I purchased this shade Praline. So you have kind of that like rubberized texture on these, gunmetal casing here. This is going to be a 6-month shelf life. It has 4 grams in there and it's made in the US. I have worn this once already, so I could try it out. And that's what it looks like. So there is the Bite Beauty lipstick, and it does have a fragrance. And I wasn't sure if it smells a lot like a lot of natural product lipsticks do, like the Cosa lipsticks and so forth. So I checked, it does have aroma or flavor listed in the ingredients. So there is something added, but it still has kind of that like natural vibe to it. So it's a similar fragrance to what you smell in some of the other ones. And I'm gonna back you out. And oh, actually, let's do highlighter. I just wanted to use one of my favorites. This is the Makeup by Mario in Opal. So I just think this is a stunning highlighter. Let's put this up here. You can make it blingy or you can make it subtle. So I'm gonna take the Rephr 15 brush that I used on the crease, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this right here. And just kind of tap that out with a finger to blend it a little bit with the cream products there. All right, I'm gonna back you out and then we will talk about all these items. Okay, so let's start at the beginning and we'll try my best to go in order. So this is the primer from Laura Mercier. It's a pure canvas primer. It's supposed to have a blurring effect. I think it did have some blurring effect. I have to say it was comfortable on the skin, and it feels more like a skincare moisturizer going on, and then you do feel like that mattifying feeling, but it doesn't feel like dry or tight. So I liked this. I'm going to use this more and see how much I like it, but it's a nice primer. Then we went to the Pat McGrath sample. So this is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation, and I used shade 2 from the sample. And I think it's a nice serum foundation. It's supposed to give a satin finish. To me, it's a little bit more of a satin matte. It's a little bit more matte than I thought it was going to be. I think it's nice. It's just, I don't know, like, I guess the texture of it being that thin wasn't my favorite. So I think it's nice. I'm not planning on buying a full size of it, but I would try it again. So if I get another sample, I'll try it again, and perhaps it's something that I will end up liking more in the future, but it's not a dislike. So moving on, then we went into eyes. So the NARS eye primer that I already had, I've used it for a while. I do like that one, but it does leave like a little tackiness on my lids, so it can make blending things out just a little, like skip a little bit in the beginning until you kind of get that powder base on it, which isn't a problem if you know that going in. So it's a primer that I like. It's not my favorite eye primer, but it's one that I like enough that I would repurchase. And then the Makeup by Mario eyeshadow palettes. So I have to say, I think Makeup by Mario as a brand is underrated. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these palettes. And this one here is the Rosy Glam palette. Excuse my nails, they are a mess. And I really like this kind of like silvery pink shade here. You know, it's kind of like a warm silver with some pink. This purpley shade, you can see there's a little bit of a shift. You can also see there's like a reddish brown base to it with more of a reddish plum shadow and a tiny bit of a blue reflect. Not a ton. Then you have this more satin metallic rose shade. Honestly, I probably won't wear that one too much just because it's not a color that looks great on me, but I can see it looking really pretty on other people. And then you have this warm brown matte shade. And again, for me, it's a little warm for something I would use regularly, but I used it today and I do like the way that they all look together. And then moving on, this is the Party Glam. What is this? Party Glam? I don't know if that's the name of it. Let me see. Yes, Party Glam. So this is the blue palette. And I really, I mean, look at these three shades in general. I mean, that's why I bought the palette. So this teal shade is gorgeous. You've got this pewtery silver shade. It's more cooler tone. And even the gold is soft. You could use this as a highlighter even. And then you have this blue matte. The matte feels a little bit stiffer. Like it seems to blend fine, but just texturally, it's not like a super creamy matte, whereas these are much creamier. I have to say, I really love the metallic shades in both of these palettes. I think they are really nice. And I mean, they have a great texture. I feel like his stuff is really underrated. It's good quality, and to get these for $15, I think that's a fantastic deal. So if you're interested, I would check them out before they are gone. There were 4 palettes originally. By the time I purchased, there were only 3. So I don't know how long they will stick around, but I really like the look that I created today. Speaking of the Natasha Denona Macro Blade Liquid Liner, so I don't have a full size. I don't know whether that would behave differently. I am terrible with liquid eyeliners. You know, I need something that's really, really easy to use because I'm just horrible at it. This is not that. So it's okay. It's definitely one that I'll use, but I would not purchase a full size for myself because it's just not as easy to use as some others. When you press down on this, I mean, you can see it's a beautiful inky black. I mean, the black is a nice, true black shade. Look at that. But when you are pressing down on this, as you're doing this, it puddles a little bit. Like it's harder to get a really fine line than it is with some of my other eyeliners. So for reference, my favorites are the Suku Nuance liners and the Yuzi eyeliners, but you can see even on my hand that this is like bleeding and feathering a little bit. So you're not gonna get a really nice crisp line with this. So it's a great color, but if you're looking for precision, with my eyeliner skills, this is not the product for that. But I have to say, I do really love how black that is. There's a tiny bit of sparkle in there, but it's a really true black, which is nice. The Gucci brow pencil, you know, I have two of these because I really love this product. So I think that says it all. But I think the spoolie on this is one of the best spoolies on a product ever, possibly the best, because it's very sturdy and stable. You can see it's not like wobbly at all. And the actual product here I think is great. So this is taupe. And I also have number 3, Chaten, and that's gonna be like a darker. That one's supposed to be like the light brown. I like them both. Usually I'll mix them during the summer. I've been using more of the lighter one recently, but I think it's a fantastic product. Moving on to cheeks, we went into the Tower 28 Bronzino bronzer, and this is the shade West Coast. It's this one here. I didn't realize, I mean, I should have looked, but I didn't realize that their bronzers were shimmery until I picked it up today. And I'm just not huge on the shimmery bronzers. I think they look really beautiful on some people. And maybe if I were a teenager again, I would like to use this. I'm not saying only teenagers, you know, wear things like this or anything. But for me, when I was a teenager, I did not wear, I like sparkly things on my cheeks. I didn't wear any powder or foundation or anything. So I would put on just like a little bit of like blush or bronzer or something, and that would be it. So this is probably something that I would have loved back then. Now I like to wear foundation, and I don't know, I don't use shimmery blushes and bronzers too much. Blushes, yes, sometimes, but bronzers pretty much never. So, you know, I don't love it. It's kind of metallic-y, which is just not really my thing. So yeah, not a favorite for me. The blush, which was also Tower 28, I forget, I think that was Power Hour. No, it's After Hours. I do like the color of this. It's more pigmented than I remembered. That was my fault, but I do like the color. I think the formula is nice. These are nice cream blushes for the price. I do have other cream blushes that are favorites. So this one, you know, it's not a favorite, but I think that it's a great inexpensive way to try out different shades. And I do like these, you know, they're nice. For me, they don't necessarily last all day on my skin. They will fade, but they're a nice product. So going back to this again, I think I will probably end up using this bronzer kind of mixed more with some of the blushes. So I end up with like more of a shimmery blush instead of using it as a bronzer. I think that's actually going to be a really good use for it. So let me know if you guys are interested. I can try that out, put that in an update video or something. And then a highlighter, I went with one of my favorites, the Makeup by Mario Opal highlighter. I think this is a fantastic highlighter. Now, most of the highlighters in his line are like really gold. This is actually white, but there is like a hint of a very, very pale gold in there. And I think the other shades, they're too gold for me, but this one is gorgeous. And the texture of this is very silky, and you know, it's not gritty at all. It truly feels very silky. You can't really feel it going on. And I love the texture. I love the color. And I like how you can put this on very sheerly, or you can really bling it out and get something very vibrant. So I think it's a great highlighter. And, oh, I forgot the mascaras. So the Ilia Limitless mascara, this is the lengthening one. I have been using this for a few weeks now. The shade's After Midnight, which is black. I think it's the only one they have. It has a 6-month shelf life, and it's 0.27 ounces or 8 grams. So this is the full size. It's made in Italy. I have to say that the brush on this, I really like it. You can see how you got these little like brush combs that kind of, you know, go through, and you've got one that's like an actual like big comb here, and then you have others that are like a little bit smaller. So you have a little, you know, you have options when you're using this. And then I also have the Fullest Volumizing Mascara. So this is the new one. This is the mini size that you purchase for I forget how much, like $14 or something on Sephora. This is 0.13 ounces or 4 milliliters. So it's half the size. And this one is, I think, probably also made in Italy. Let's see. Yes, this one is made in Italy. And according to the box, it says it's a clean, volumizing mascara that wraps each lash in weightless volume without clumping, flaking, or smudging. Natural waxes thicken and define, while arginine and provitamin B5 help nourish and fortify for stronger, fuller lashes over time. Removes easily at the end of the day. So with this volumizing mascara, you've got this brush that's kind of more like a bell at the bottom here. So it's, you can see a little bit thicker. So you got a little bubble, gets narrow, and then you have a bigger bubble. And it's like this all the way around. I don't hate the brush, but I don't love the brush either. I think for me with the lashes, what I've noticed is that the Limitless actually is more impactful on my lashes. It seems like a little bit more present, whereas the volumizing one, I don't notice it as much. When I look at my lashes, they look more feathery, you know, very, very light feathery, kind of like an everyday thing, but it's not giving me all out volume like I would expect from a volumizing mascara personally. And I've used this for about a week. So I've been testing this. I think it's only okay. It is a wet mascara. They're both fairly wet when you get them. You know, after you have them open, they'll start drying out a little bit. They're both fairly wet, but I would have to say that this one is wetter when you open it than the Limitless. And you know, who knows how long my mascaras were sitting on the shelf or anything like that. So it could be something like that. But it is worth noting that this one does come off more wet in the beginning, and yeah, so you kind of have to let that dry, or you can potentially make a mess. But I think between the two, I personally prefer the Limitless Lash Mascara, and I do like this one. Like this is one I would purchase again. I would not purchase the volumizing one again, but I'd be happy to use samples like this that come, or, you know, a little mini. Like I purchased one and got one as a free sample. I'd be happy to use these, but I'm not going to purchase that again. Moving on to the lip liner. This goes on very, very nicely. It's very creamy. You could use this as an all over lip color. I need to play with this more to, you know, figure out how it wears and all of that. So can't really tell with today's application, but I will play with this. I can put this in an update video if you guys are interested. Just let me know. And then the Bite Beauty, the Power Move lipstick. So this is a soft matte lipstick. I think it's a nice lipstick for a clean product. When I'm looking at soft matte lipsticks, if I'm taking clean beauty out of the equation, there are others I prefer. But I do think this is really nice if you're looking for a clean beauty lipstick. It's comfortable on the lips. There is a little bit of glide. Silicone is actually in the top of the ingredients. Let me find the box. Yes, the first ingredient is dimethicone. So you definitely have that slip, that glide. I have not had any issues with like feathering or anything. Wear time on this, you know, is average. It's not going to be, you know, typically with some of those drier matte lipsticks, they can last kind of all day and sting your lips. This isn't going to do that. This is really more like a regular lipstick where you get like 4 to 5 hours of wear. And yes, you might still have some pigment left over as a stain, but it's not as long wearing as some other ones that I've tried with similar formulas. I think it's comfortable on the lips. I'm not really all that keen on the fragrance. It's not terrible, but you know, sometimes these like natural fragrances that they put in some of these clean beauty items to kind of make the ingredients smell a little better, sometimes they just smell to me, like in my head, like something that is trying to mask something that's going bad. So that's like my own little thing. I know that's not, at least not always the case, but that's kind of what it makes me think of. So I don't love the scent of it. I don't hate it. It's not overpowering. You can smell it when you sniff the lipstick, but I don't smell it when it's on my lips. I find it to be comfortable, but I don't find it to be ultra hydrating or anything like that. Yet it's not drying. You know, it's there. It does no harm and it does no good for me. So it's just completely neutral. So I think it's a nice lipstick. I'm probably not going to pick up any more of these because there are other formulas that I like better, but I do think that it is a decent lipstick. As for the color Praline, I like the color. You know, it's really more of a warm rose than what I thought for a Praline shade, but I think it's a nice shade and I'm happy with the way it looks on me, so I'm happy with the color. And I think those are all of the products. So please let me know what you guys think. If you've tried any of these items, what your thoughts are on them. Also, please let me know what you think of doing like a video like this where everything's from Sephora or whatever, even though it's like all different brands. What do you prefer better? Do you like seeing things like all from one brand, having a mix, whatever? Like them both. So I'd love to get some feedback. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon. So have a great day and stay safe and healthy.